Hello, this is Adele at the Sea Science Center. The theme for Earth Day this year is climate action. Today we're going to talk a little bit about how scientists know about our climate. Scientists and ordinary citizens, children and students have been making observations about the world around them for many, many years, about over 100 really. And that tells us a lot about how the climate has been recently. But scientists have been able to look back into the Earth's past and learn about past climates. And that's what I'm going to tell you a little about today. I'm going to read to you a short little segment from this book, How We Know What We Know About Our Changing Climate, Scientists and Kids Explore Global Warming, by Lynn Cherry and Gary Bosch. Year after year, century after century, millennia after millennia, Earth's natural processes continue on. Seasons change throughout the year, and temperature and weather changes with them. For example, dust and pollen settle on the bottom of rivers or lakes, leaving records in mud layers. Tiny plankton react to ocean temperature and then die, becoming sediment on the sea floor that tells the history of our ocean. Snow falls on glaciers and ice sheets, freezes and it is covered by more snow. As snow becomes ice, it traps air bubbles. Each frozen bubble is a tiny time capsule of the atmosphere that existed when it was enclosed in ice. These cycles leave marks. For a scientist, these marks are clues that show what happened long ago. Clues that can be read and understood thousands or even millions of years later. These are the clues that unlock the history of our planet. Trees are great recorders of changing times because they respond to seasonal changes by growing more some years and less other years, leaving a record of annual growth in their tree rings. You can see this tree sample here in front of us, and I can see, because I'm close, all the different growth rates throughout this entire sample. And they all tell us about how the tree was growing at that time. There are many other things that scientists look at as well. They look at ice cores from down into glaciers. They look at mud cores from under the sea floor and under lakes. And they also look at rock cores in geology as well to learn about the past history of our planet. In the activity we're going to do next, I'll show you how they do that. So for our activity, we're going to use a clear container and make some different layers of sediment, like we were talking about earlier. So like if one layer of dirt settles, then another and another over many years, we have a whole bunch of different layers. So I'm going to use some clay and some kinetic sand today. You could use Play-Doh that you make at home, or you can collect some dirt or sand outside. You want different colors, different layers. So we're going to put that all together, and then I'll show you how scientists would take samples of that. So I started by working some clay to create a rather semi-flat base layer in here. Now I'm going to add some sediment I have some clay sand here, different layers of clay sand, to show like each layer of sand or pollen or dust that's settled in a given year. So now we have all of our layers. So imagine this was, say, under the ocean, where a layer of sediment was formed every year. It'd be really compressed, and those layers would be very thin. And if you're in the ocean, you wouldn't be able to see this. All you'd be able to see from above, underwater, is the top layer. So how would scientists know what was underneath? They would make a core sample. So I have a straw here. I'm going to stick it down into our sediment, and scientists would take a big ship into the ocean or a large machinery to a glacier, and they would pull out a core sample like this one. You can see all the different layers we made are represented going down the straw. So from studying these core samples, they could see how the Earth had changed during these different periods when the sediment was laid down. So they'd look at each layer individually under the microscope and learn about the conditions of the Earth. You could try this at home. You could try making more and more layers, see how good of a sample you can get. But that's how scientists look back at the history of our climate on our planet.